Uh, Very good afternoon, everybody. Today we have assembled for a workshop presentation session on academic writing. Today in the afternoon slot, the students have worked in the lab and they have prepared a small presentation, a kind of slide show on what work they have done. But this workshop is designed in a manner where there will be human plus AI integration, synergy of human and AI in the improvement of academic writing or essay type writing. So we tend to see that how both the ways, the human beings as well as AI, when they come together, what way we can led into improvement of our academic writing that we are trying to see here. Let us see how it goes on. At the end of the day, we will see the outcome of our work, also in what way we are learning lessons to improve our handwritten answers, or let us say our writing skills at the end of this exercise. Okay? So first we will start with teachers presentation. So Prakruti madam and Megha madam will first of all come and share their way of looking at the error analysis done in your handwritten answers, which were memory based test. And then we will ask students to come and show us that what they have done with the help of generative AI. Yes. Yes, Megha madam.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So here, me and Prakriti Madam have prepared this presentation based on your internal paper that we have checked, and here one examples we have put it in the slides. For example, some positive things that are good in your paper, and some we can say the mistake that you have did in your papers. So based on this thing, you can understand that what you have to do in your university exam. So some good things you can, again we can say, use in your university exam, and the mistakes that you have done in your papers, so that you can avoid in your university exam. So this is the presentation that we have prepared. Yes. So the first thing is that problem with the content, language, title, and repetition. So these are 4 points. Okay, we can identify easily. So here first the title. Okay, when you write your answer, so do not use the word summary. You have to write analysis as a title of your answer. So that is the one thing. There are so many we can say the mistakes, but here we have used only one example. On the other side, again you can find it out that one student added this line. Okay, the line is also not correct. Beauty is the forever things of joy, and also mentioned that it is written by Wordsworth. Okay, so the thing is that this line written by kids. Okay, and line is also not correct. So these kinds of factual information you have to remember, and if you understand and if you remember the things, then and then you have to write, otherwise you can skip that thing. Okay, next slide. Yes, another very major point is that work on MCQs. Okay, so in that paper you can find it out all 5 MCQs were wrong. Okay, so the thing is that from these question number 5 you can score more marks. Okay, so if you are doing these kinds of silly mistakes, then you cannot, we can say, get a good score in your university exam. Okay, so just try to, we can say, read all the MCQs, just try to, we can say, revise all the OT. Okay, and then you can score good in your university exam. Next, underlining or highlighting the important points with the black and blue ink pen. Okay, as we discussed in the classroom as well, that you have to use black pen and blue pen. You can highlight main points with the black pen, and you can write your main content with the blue pen. You don't have to use only red pen, otherwise you are free to use black and blue pen. So here you can find it out that these students have written some title, like a title and the Darcy and the Elizabeth and all these things, but all things we can find it out only with the blue pen. So paper checker cannot easily identify your main points. Okay, so if you highlighted, then things can be very easy to understand and for reading as well. Okay, so remember this thing, that this thing is very minor but very important. Next, again, the incomplete answer. In the romantic age paper, hardly 12 students have written all the 4 questions. Okay. Other remaining students have not attempted fourth questions or maybe the incomplete. So only 12 students can get, we can say, the good marks. What about the others? So here, these error represent that you have to manage time in your exam. Okay, you have appropriate time. Okay, there for 70 marks, 2.5. Okay, so within that time you have to divide one questions, for example, for 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, you have to, we can say, keep one, we can say, the watch with you. Okay, so in how in this way you can manage your time appropriately. Okay, otherwise you may lose your marks. Okay, so don't repeat the same mistake again, just try to attempt all 4 questions. Okay, here you have option that only 2 10-mark questions and only 2 5 mark questions you have to write, but there you have to write all the questions. Okay, so for that, what you have to do, just try to do writing practice. Okay, daily 1 to 2 questions and answers you can write at your home. Okay, then and then you can, we can say, write complete things. Okay, next, again the wrong question selected. I remember Jaipal, then this Sandeep and Radhika. After, we can say, so many suggestions and all these things, in the third paper you did the same mistake. Okay, one students have attempted all 4 A questions, for example, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. Then how we can give marks? Okay, remember that here in the internal exam you have to choose only 2 questions long and 2 questions short. And again we were there. Okay, time and again we ask that if you have any doubt, if you have any question, then you can ask. But in the third paper you did the mistakes and you lost your marks. Okay, only two, we can say, the out of questions you can get marks. Okay, in the last 2 questions I didn't give marks. Okay, so these kinds of mistakes we can find it out in some students, so don't repeat the same mistake in next exam. Next, again very common error. Okay, we know that in semester 1, maybe you are not that much good in your language, or we can say the spelling mistakes, because the system is also new for you, these kinds of an exam. Okay, but just try to, we can say, focus more on your spelling as well as your language. If you feel that I cannot write a difficult jargon, or I cannot use difficult vocabulary or hard vocabulary, then use a small sentence in a simple language. Okay, but don't do these kinds of mistakes. Sometimes we feel that how we can read, we didn't understand a single line. Okay, so don't do these kinds of language mistake or the spelling mistakes. Continue. Again, this another mistake is incorrect genre. Okay, here you have the questions of the tale of a tub, and one student's written that it is a heroic couplet as well as a story. So how we can find it out, these two things? Okay, so don't do these kinds of mistake again. So many spelling errors in the Mary Shelley's spelling. Mary, some students written Mary, some students have written Marry. Okay, so these kinds of mistake you have to avoid. Again, here I want to just put emphasis on that Mary Shelley written Frankenstein, not PB Shelley, and PB Shelley is a male, not a female. Okay, so sometimes these kinds of mistakes also we identified. Okay, next, mistakes in organization of answers. Always you have to start new questions from the new page. Okay, you have enough supplementary, you can use more supplementary. Okay, but write appropriately. Okay, so here when you complete your question number 1, then you can start your next question from the new page. Okay, so these kinds of thing you have to remember. Next slide. Again, illegible handwriting and meaningless description. Okay, we didn't understand, we can't read that what you have written. Okay, so here you can find it out that all these orange lines, you cannot get a single meaning from that one paragraph. Okay, on the other sides, at least you can write readable writing, we can read. Okay, so these things you have to remember. For that also you have to do writing practice, then and then you can improve. Next slide. Okay, so from this slide, now I would like to invite Prakruti ma'am. From these you can find it out your positive points, that what things you have done good. Okay, so for that, Prakruti ma'am, you can come. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Megha ma'am. So then, while there are issues with the writing, there are some good aspects also of the descriptive answers. The first and foremost is this logical arrangement of the answers, like from the introduction to the major concerns of the analysis, aspects discussed in the answer, and then finally to a proper concluding paragraph, along with well explained observations. So the student is not just pointing out the important point that is supposed to be in there, but they are also explaining it in their own way. So that is something appreciable in that coherent presentation. So you can actually read it as a proper sequenced answer. Coherent means it's a properly sequenced and well written answer, and justified beginning. Right, justified beginning means if it is a question regarding Alexander Pope, then they have quoted Pope. If it is a question regarding Jonathan Swift, they have quoted Swift. So similarly, justified beginning means a particular quotation or particular line is taken from the particular work, and it is also then justified in the answer that is presented. So they have quoted, then explained the quotation, and then began the answer. So these are some of the aspects which are very good in the answers which are written. Next slide, please. All key points discussed. So one of the major concern was that many students have missed out on the points which are supposed to be there in the answer, right? However, there are some students who have added all the required points of discussion within that particular question, right? So they have understood the demand of the question and then included all the points which were supposed to be in the answer. So then this is one example of that. Next slide, please. Then good use of highlighting the important points, original lines have been taken, and even the handwriting is good enough said so that people can actually read the answer which is written. So all the points have been highlighted, although there are some spelling errors, but the explanation makes up for it. So then that is done. Next slide, please. So then, considering all these, right, the mistakes as well as the good aspects of your answers, these are some suggestions which we have shared with the your seniors as well, and we are sharing it with you also. So in order to prepare a good answer for your university exam, and particularly for descriptive answers, these are the aspects which you can consider. The list begins with two important points. One is coherence, and the second is cohesiveness. Coherence, as the slide explains to you, is a logical sequencing of the points, right? So you just don't begin abruptly like, okay, this is this is the particular text, this is the particular poet, so on and so forth. You begin steadily, right, with a proper introduction, of the author or the poet. Then you move proper in the sequencing, logical sequencing, you move towards the introduction of the text. Then you move to the major critical analysis of the text and the demand of the question, right? And then finally towards a structured conclusion also. So that is one. Cohesiveness is your answer reads as an integrated whole, right? So there isn't any misplaced point or irrelevant point in your answer, right? Many students have provided information which is not necessary for the question, right? So then irrelevant or too much exaggeration of the good aspects of a poet. So if you say Alexander Pope is an excellent poet, Jonathan Swift is a brilliant satirist, so those things, yes, all of us know, that is why you have them in the syllabus in the first place. But no need to exaggerate that time and again and repeatedly when you write your answer. So cohesiveness, it reads as a integrated whole. Everything adds on to the answer that is there. Grammar and presentation, right? Grammar again is a very important thing, and which is a major concern in many of your answers, right? And as ma'am pointed it out, that it goes on to such a level that it becomes a very meaningless description, right? The grammar is so problematic in that case. Then another is presentation, right? When you answer, right? uh, it's obvious that all of us get frantic, we panic when there's a timeline and we have to finish the answer very quickly, and it becomes very difficult to manage the content along with the presentation. But the simplest things which you can do is, one, highlight the points which you have included. If you have enough time, and if you are somebody who can manage description along with presentation, you can also use infographics. Many of you have used those. Many of you have provided proper sequencing of the tables of all the points which are included in the answer. You have also provided a proper infographic structure, a table again for the kind of characters that are their major themes of the text, so on and so forth. But I think everybody can include work in those areas if time permits, right? So that is there. And of course, since we are talking about time management, right? And ma'am has already suggested to you that do a little bit of writing practice, although it is obvious that very difficult to manage time in such a situation. But work it out, at least in such a way that all the answers are attempted, you don't miss out on a single answer. So that is one thing. Next slide, please. These things have already been highlighted, so I'm not going to repeat, right? Attempt all answers, write correct question number. Sometimes even the basic things are incorrectly written by you guys, so just work on it a little bit. At least the factual information of the text should be clear, right? So Alexander Pope has never written a single novel, and Jonathan Swift hasn't written a single poem, even though there are exceptions. But poem, heroic couplet, he hasn't used. That is one. So then those things, at least you can clarify. Alexander Pope, the text which you have, The Rape of the Lock, is a poem, epic poem. It's not a novel. It's not even a story. And therein you have a character of Baron, not Lord Byron. So Lord Byron was nowhere to be seen with Alexander Pope ever. So just make sure that such factual information is not incorrectly presented. Improve handwriting, although most of your handwritings are legible, but there are some students who still need to work on those things. So that is one. Many of you have presented very good observations, analysis of the point which you are discussing, right? All the points are correct, you have explained them well. But it would be good if you can connect it with a specific example from the text you are discussing. So let's say you are writing about Tale of a Tub and you are writing about political commentary presented by Swift or religious allegory presented by Swift. You need to take at least one example from the text, right? So where exactly do you find it? So then that would help you out in preparing the answer, and that would add depth to the answer which you have written. And avoid spelling errors and stick to the question. Yes. No need to write the entire story of the text. That is not required, right? Introduction is there, but introduction doesn't require the story of the text, right? And therefore, no need to elaborate on that. So, some students have done this. So the demand of the question was analyze The Rape of the Lock as a social satire, and they've written the entire story. right from the beginning of the Belinda dressing up till the cutting of the lock of hair. So then that is not necessary. So right, stick to the question. What is the question asking you? Just write it down. Nothing more is required. And yeah, that's it. Start new answer on the new page that is already highlighted by ma'am. So these are some of the suggestions, some of the points, and some of the good aspects of your answers. Most of you know the basic structure of the answer, that is introduction, main points, and then conclusion. So that is a good aspect of all the answers so far. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Okay, so that was, I hope, the human assessing the answer books and suggesting that what common mistakes are made by some of you. Some are general errors which Indians make, and how you can work on that. As we suggested in the morning, if you reread your answers, if you get some 15-20 minutes to reread your answers, then that will help you a lot in identifying such simple errors, and it can be rectified also. Before we ask you to make your presentations, just a background of what you have done. So students will come and share how they use generative AI prompts to identify errors and mistakes and that. And this was the activity task that was assigned to all the students, and you are now ready with your brief presentation on your activity outcome. Okay? You all have submitted your works also. Now, before we see this, where is the gap in the pedagogy that we need to use generative AI? These are the questions for teachers, that why they would or they should encourage students to use technology. What is this gap? Why this gap cannot be filled by teachers? What work generative AI can do? Perhaps teachers cannot do that work. That's why we identify a gap in the pedagogy and try to overcome that. When we see pedagogical strategies of using generative AI, we have many ways of looking at it. Out of 6 very important points, which people talk a lot nowadays, 3 we have tried. 3 which are red marked here. One is one-to-one tutoring with generative AI. You will get a kind of a personal tutor who will be always with you to guide you how to write, what mistakes you make, and 24x7 that teacher will be with you. And whenever you ask, the teacher will answer that this is the mistake, this is the error, this way you can improve the quality. That is one-to-one tutoring. Second is assessment and feedback. How whatever work we do, if I want a very friendly feedback, and that also, like, nobody is aware about my laking. Here, when teachers showcase your errors, everybody becomes aware that where we are laking. But here it is secretly done. Only I know where I am laking. So assessment and feedback done by AI. And third is continuous improvement. Continuously, whenever, anywhere, anytime, no barrier of time or space, and people can keep on working. These 3 pedagogical strategies are utilized in this. People have criticized ChatGPT a lot, or generative AI also a lot, in different ways. People also have said that ChatGPT is the death of education also. It is a threat to the learning and other things. All those dangers that are seen, even people like Noam Chomsky told that true intelligence and artificial intelligence cannot match with each other. So we are aware about all these things, that what are the downside of generative AI. What way, if people use it, may become unethical also, or wrong also. So keeping all those negative things in the mind, what way positively it can be useful to us. That is what we are trying to see. So this was a 2 sigma problem by Benjamin Bloom. And he told that if you want to do the best learning in the least time, then individual tutoring is necessary. Without individual tutoring, it is not possible. But individual tutoring is nearly impossible because we cannot have individual teacher for all the students. And that also we want quality teachers for every student. Even if we can get one teacher per 15 students, it is considered very good ratio. One teacher per 15 students. Now imagine if you are 15 only and then you ask us, the way you ask generative AI, that correct my answer according to BAWE or according to this rubric, and then you ask that now write my answer. Now that will be impossible. No teachers can write your answer in the perfect manner. But generative AI will do that, and you might have experienced that also, that how your own answer, it is not that one ideal answer, but everybody has a unique way of writing answers. In literature, all answers are correct answers. In literature, there is no one, it is not mathematics that you can have one theorem and 1 + 1 is equal to 2. In literature, there are different way of writing and looking at. So if everybody says that write my answer in a perfect manner, it is not the capacity of any human teacher. So this gap is there where we try to fill with the generative AI. So, but we know that LLMs can make errors. It can be hallucinatory responses. It can confabulate. It will fabulate responses also. So that also we are aware. So we have to train the machine, the beast, the animal. We have to train the beast, as Victor failed to train the monster. But here we have to train the monster. So it remains a slave to us. Otherwise, it will become our master. So how do we do that? By preparing prompts. The teacher's role is to give proper prompt, a detailed proper prompt. So students get exactly what we are expecting. And that is the work of teachers, that how to write a better prompt, how to design a proper prompt. And that's why today people are talking a lot that today is the era of prompt engineering. How well you can engineer a prompt, you can get a better response. If you are not asking properly, you are not going to get proper answer. And you will say that AI is faulty, AI has this problem, has that problem, but your prompt was a problem. So how we train the beast, how we train, that becomes very important here. So that exercise also was given to you, that how will you draft a prompt? And you have seen that prompts are very lengthy thing. You require a prior knowledge of what is BAWE. You require a prior knowledge of how language can be assessed, what can be the rubric of those things. So without that prior knowledge of so many things, you can't draft a proper prompt also. So that we have done, first experiment we have done with CEFR last year. That was Common European Framework for IELTS and other exams. And we got a good result in that also. So we carried on with the other responses. These were all the responses of previous batches students. And we got quite interesting results. So we thought of repeating this activity time and again. We got a good learning outcome also, and we will see, we will analyze your learning outcome today. You have given in a feedback to see what way you are responding to that. This time we prepared a detailed prompt, as we told that BAW, British Academic Written English Corpus. One prompt was on this, another was on MKBU rubric that we have prepared on 3 parameters: correctness of English language, content of the answer, and organization of the answer in this. And you were suggested to give this 2 prompts together or one by one to generative AI along with your answer to see what response we are getting. And we are going to see that, that what response we are getting there. Then also asked you this time an additional prompt was given that rewrite my answer. Suggestions are given that this is error, another thing. Now also write my answer. So we will see what way you are either happy, satisfied, or do you find any learning outcome from the answer written by generative AI. So this, and you all have submitted your slides here. You are told to submit 6 slides and 10 minutes time to present your thing. So we will start your presentations, and then we will see the summary outcome of what you have given as a response here. So now the students can come and start their presentation according to the groups. Okay? The first group can come. So you have to share from there. Huh? Share.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a workshop on answer writing, academic answer writing. Sir has already given the information which we have did in previous break. So now we have divided, Sir has divided our class in 6 groups to analyze our mistakes as well as good points which we have did in our previous term exam or preliminary examination. So first, in my group, change the slide. Yeah, we have 6 members in our group. So change the slide. I did some mistakes as well as some good points which AI tool has analyzed in my answer. That 2 points which AI has analyzed, that I have defined several themes correctly, and then the character also related with the themes. But it highlights the my main weaknesses, that which I have done. The essay remains mostly descriptive, not analytical. So you can see in the photo that I have written the points with the description, but it is just a descriptive answer, not the analytical answer based on the character or Dickens' view related to the particular situation or the particular points of the answer. Then also this answer is unclear according to AI, and explanation is explain of themes, how it interact with the characters of the novel. So that is I have not done in my answer. So AI has given me these are my weaknesses, so I can improve these points in my university examination. Please change the slide. Okay, and as well as my group mate Shivani Degda also did some mistake in her answer, that she wrote about Chaucer, Age of Chaucer, and particularly Geoffrey Chaucer, but she had not highlight the points of critical interpretation of the Chaucer, his work, and the social political background of that particular era. For example, AI has suggested her that the Pardoner's Prologue or the Wife of Bad Tale in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, she should highlight those points regarding the socio-political background in her answer. So AI had suggest this good thing to her, that she can improve her answer, and also she should include some key writers of that age in her answer. So that was from my side. Now I would like to call my another group members to discuss their point of view, which AI had given to them.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So I have given my answer to ChatGPT AI, and it has given me the what are the strengths and weaknesses, and how the result of it is. That in my answer, I have correctly identified the major themes of the Frankenstein, which was a good thing about it, and it shows that numbering it was a good thing, because it lead to that understanding that I know the basic thing of the how to answer the question, and what are the themes which could include into the as a scientific gothic fiction novel. And it shows my weaknesses, that what I have didn't properly examine what through the analysis of the BAWE corpus, that they says that do not use the numbered as a numbered or bulletin points list of the analysis. They are required fully developed paragraphs like the contextual evidence and the critically commentary, that is the most important one, and the clear topic examine and the explanation. It no, it should not be, as my group member said, that it should not be descriptive but an analytical one. It shows my points that it look like a separate notes, that it doesn't connect with the what I have asked, what I have been asked. And it shows that it expect from me to transients and the logical progression of the ideas, just not a descriptive one. And there is no it showed that it is not overarching thesis guiding how the themes work together, but which is essential for the BAW standard essays. Change the slide. This is the paper of Priya Rathod, my group mate, and these are her. She used ChatGPT AI, and this is what showed that content and the answer based on the basis of the MKBU rubric analysis. And it showed her that what are her strengths. That she corrected the romantic themes, which is the identified, which is the imagination, emotion, and nature. Her poems references were correct. Also, she has also quoted the one quotation like beauty is truth and truth is beauty, shows the basic understanding that she understands the questions. Now what are the weaknesses of her? That very few quotes were added, none of them from the Byron and Shelley, which was asked into the question. Now mostly descriptive, as I have already mentioned, and it lacks the analysis. Now romanticism, and she exemplified the romanticism in a too simple way within the undevelopment of the poet, which was the asked like the Shelley, and not too much close reading, but the surface of reading can be shown into the answer, which is shown into the photo also. And overall the result was from the AI that it should not it also corrected points, but it showed that how we lack the deep things and facts we are ignoring here. And it doesn't have that quote analysis and the balance operation description and the information that it really needed. That is from my side. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is my answer. As it was written in my internal exams, I gave the answer as it was in my internal paper with all the mistakes and errors to generative AI, and it analyzes my answer and gave this type of suggestions. So it said that the transition between many things, that the critique of marriage and the critique of society should not be mentioned in essay type or descriptive type of answers. There should be only coherent and coherent paragraphs of the answer, and no need to write this kind of critique or of marriage and society and all these things. They are not necessary for the exam, and they might only increase the size of the paper and nothing else. And we how can we analyze these answers? That we can replace it with heading of the topic sentence. So we can highlight our topics such as the critique of marriage, though we can just write that point in another ink, so just as a black ink. No need to write or point out the separate point. This one. Here is the paper of Sanjay Rathod. According to the rubrics of MKBU analysis of the papers, there were many grammar and sentence mistakes, such as vocabulary, tone, and many of these things were not correct. And these are the basic things that we should consider in writing our exams. And here is his answer. There are frequent errors in subject-verb agreement, and many small and tiny grammatical errors are there, with the errors of spellings as well. And there are many good points as well, but these things should be considered. Thank you.
get the corrected copy of the answer in that group? You tried the second prompt, rewrite the answer. Was that not tried by anybody? Rewrite. We are given two tasks. No? One was about BAWE and another was rewrite, and then what you get. So 3 to 4 students on first and another 2 on the second one. So I think the second part was missed out in the first group. Yeah? First group members. Yeah, no, but you can put that how you begin and how it is beginning. That we want to see. So that is how you learn that when you begin your answer and what is coming there. So when you compare first 5 lines or last 5 lines of conclusion, then you come to know what is there. It is fair or not. That also we can overview. There. But that is not presented in any of the slides. No, it is not there. Okay, second group can come. Okay.
Hello everyone, I am from group 2 and today I discuss some strength and weakness and some suggestions. Uh, this is our group name: Dimple Dabe, Dimple Parmar, Vanita Baraya, Sandhya Booth, Riddhi Sarveya and Mansi Makwana. Next slide. This answer is Sandhya Booth. Her strength is shows clear understanding of the main theme, poverty and education in the Jude the Obscure. Identifies class inequality as a major issue. She also attempt to write in full sentence and paragraphs, demonstrate genuine effort to explain the story and character. Her weaknesses is many spelling and grammar mistake, reduce clarity. Sentence structure is weak and sometimes confusing. Idle repeat and lack academic vocabulary. No quotation or textual evidence from the novel. Some information is incorrect or unclear. Transition between ideas are missing, affecting coherence. And the next slide. This is my answer, and I also reflect the strength, good historical background, correct biblical parallels, clear understanding of right and political purpose, and then shows moral message of the poem. And my weaknesses is a grammar mistake and unclear sentence, mixing story, history, and purpose together, spelling errors, and some suggestion. Use clear structure, intro, history, purpose, allegory, and conclusion. And write in short, correct sentence, avoid repetition, use academic tone, and a strong concluding line supporting monarchy. And also AI give enhance our knowledge and give the basic ideas. Thank you. This is my side.
Skip this slide, please.
Next.
So, hello everyone. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I made several mistakes which affected the quality of my answer. I realized that I made errors in grammar, capitalization, and spelling, even in common words. So, another major issue was that uh, in some question, instead of focusing on what was actual asked, I wrote answers that were not directly related to the questions. So I shared this photo to AI, and it give me my strength and weakness also. So I try to turn my weakness into my strength. So thank you so much.
Hello everyone. As per BAWE and MKBU evaluation, I had received some strength and weakness of my answer from chat gpt. So I had made mistake in many spelling errors and also grammar errors and missing punctual and strength is understand the main theme of class and morality and include an introduction body and conclusion. So this will help me write more effective answer in my next exam. So thank you, this is from my side.
Hello everyone, I'm from group 3, Seja Chokya. Here is the list of our group members. Next slide, please. So the first response is mine one, that what are the mistakes that I have done and what are the strength of mine in my written exam paper. So in my strength, I identify the key themes: reopening of theaters, rise of comedy of manners, influence of Charles II, and shows basic understanding that literature reflects social life. These were the my strength according to generative AI. Uh, the several mistakes that I have done, and the according to AI, that these were my weaknesses. That I only focus on my analysis were only descriptive, not analytic. Lake's explanation of why social change shape literature does not show how themes like materialism, libertinism, hypocrisy appear in text that were mentioned by me in the answer. No use of critic views, like for example Dryden is the critic of restoration comedy. I have the question that what were the traits of what were the events that social events that happen in restoration era and how it affect literature. But these were the point that I forgot. Overall I was in mid level. I scored 2.5 out of 5. Needs stronger critical depth and clearer analytic connection in my writing exams. Next slide, please. Second one is Divya Dabhi's written paper. Her weaknesses were that frequent grammatical errors made by her, and there is a lack of coherence in her paper. Ideas jumped adaptedly between points without transition, such as furthermore, however, this suggests that, and etc. Characters, example, are not linked back to the main theme or the main idea of the question or the context of the question. Overall, coherence is weak and need to transitions are minimal in her paper. Next one, please. Third one is Mithal Hilia's written paper, that her strength which uses some formal terms such as represents, emphasis, and time, and in her paper. Weaknesses: informal expressions. Example: good things with Bennett family. Many times she not sure. Rejected dance. These were the mistakes she has done. Repetitive, simpler vocabulary. Lakes academic terms such as the concept of the question was in the context of marriage and how it reflects in the Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Missing BAWE features, that no topic sentences, no heading seems suggests a lack of precisions and clarity. Overall, academic score was 2 out of 4. Needs more formal diction, discipline, specific vocabulary, and academic writing conversations. Next one, please. Okay, fourth one is by Mulraj Sigohil. As he get, according to the AI, his handwriting were good, and he has that proper logical structure in his answer. Uh, Body paragraph are fragmented with repetitive headings and lack coherent flow. Suggested clear structure, that introduction, state thesis. First body was marriage for security, Charlotte Lucas and Mr. Collins. Body 2, marriage for possession, lust, as the marriage of Lydia and Mr. Wickham. Body 3, ideal marriage of love, respect, Elizabeth Darcy. Conclusion: summarize argument that you have done in your answer. Overall in his paper needs a logical progression from thesis, analysis, and the conclusion. Next one, please. Fifth one was Bhargavi's paper, corrections of English language, key issues, grammar and structure. Her structure was not that much proper in accordance of the BAWE and MKBU rubric criteria. she made several spelling error, and she also highlight those points where she made errors. For example, in peripecia, catharsis, hamartia, protagonist, and Aristotelian, where she made mistake, and even though she highlight those points. Weak vocabulary uses overly simpler words: good, kind, sad, even, make mistake, instead of precise academic terminology. Poor punctuation, heavy reliance on full stops, lacks academic punctuation such as commas, colons, and semicolons for complex ideas. Overall, her assessment by AI was that rubric score was for one, language errors significantly obscure meaning and hinder academic clarity. Last one was Hiralba's paper, that actionable feedback for improvement. Add a clear thesis at the end of the introduction, that these what she's going to done in her answer. For example, she has that question of metaphysical poetry. Uh, Metaphysical poetry is defined by intellectual depth, conceits, and aberrant openings, as seen in Donne's treatment of love, death, and fate. Explain each features, then illustrate with an example. Define the concept, give a poem example, uh, which also supported by the quotation from Donne's poetry. Replace informal words with academic terms. Preferred carefully for grammar, spelling, and clarity. One more thing which I want to add in Hiranbal's question, that she haven't complete her whole answer due to lack of time management. Thank you so much. This is from our group.
Hello everyone. Those are my group members' name. The first one is mine. Please change the slide. Uh, Here I'm mentioned about the tone and vocabulary syntax. In my answer, there is not just a problem of my answer is that writing sounds too casual and informal. There is not just a good answer. And how can I fix? Use simple but formal words like important, influential, significant instead of conversational phrases. Those are instructions which is gave from the rubric criteria. And the second one is vocabulary and syntax. What is the problem of my answer is that grammar and spelling mistakes. Sentence are too simple. There is a no a samples sentence that is used by a very good. How can I fix that? Use the correct spellings and slightly stronger words like development, emergence, rise, and make sentence clear and more complex. Now would I like to invite Kushi Parmar for further discussion.
So in my paper, I have done mistake in argumentation and critical analysis. So we can see the answer does not develop a central argument about how and why Pops uses heroic couplets. Heroic couplet features iambic, pentameter, rhyming pairs, balance, sweet, antithesis, and epigrammatic clauses are not described. The essay mostly summarizes publication details and characters which are the irrelevant to the specific question. So there is no critical interpretation like how heroic couplet creates satire, mock epic tone, or a social commentary. So this answer does not show analytical thinking or understanding of this poetic form. I would like to invite Nancy. Sorry, Sandeep. Bhai.
So here is my answer, which I have been written in my internal examination, and these are the my weakness. What I have done in my answer: the frequent jump between idea without providing any background of my answer, and the repetition of similar phrases. Sometimes I have done many mistakes by doing this, and sentence are often grammatically broken and making argument which unclear because I didn't provide any background. And according to BAW writing style, coherence is created through connectors like moreover, thus, however, and in contracts which are absent in my answer. And I will definitely improve my mistakes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this is my answer that I wrote in my examination, and I can see that there were no use of textual evidence from the original text, and I didn't use any quotations or references to the chapters, or didn't use any illustrations. And according to rubric BAWE writing, my answer should be in simple tone, and it needs to be more formal, precise, and analytically. I made many mistakes and jumped from this and that. The question was different, and I write something else. And I'm sorry about that. But I will surely um, do it right in my next examination. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. There are my mistakes. Me, sorry, a second. Sorry. Okay. There are AI was giving me mistakes like a tale of paper, a new classical papers one. They are include about okay. Formulate a clear thesis on tale of tubs and focus on analysis. And they are giving they are advice giving me use of formal pieces, academic language, and including grammar. And they are references added on in my papers. So next time I will note down in paper and include about my writings. So thank you.
This is my answer, and ChatGPT give me to use of textual evidence and summary. Missing evidence, no quotation or paragraph from Pamela. And another is no critical support, no reference to scholars, no textual illustration, no example from Pamela's letter and moral reflection or Mr. B's action. And so is a classify as the weak answer, no quotes, mostly like summary.
Hello, this is my strength and weakness from my paper. My strength is I am follow the structure of introduction, characteristic, and conclusion, and I am also wrote a numeric and rubric about my paper or theme. My weakness, I am not I am not give intro about the romantic poetry, but I am wrote a intro about romantic age. My body was not means my main body is not according to BAWE stand, and my sub points are repeated, and conclusion is more improvement for me. Sorry for that, but I'm improving that in next papers. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So our group has 7 members, and these are the members. Next slide. So first one is my paper. So the strengths which are there in my answers are I have identified the thematic complexity. Both Wilmore and Angelica can be interpreted as rovers, and I have used some illustrations from the actual text and from the plot, such as Wilmore refusing to pay Angelica or Angelica falling emotionally vulnerable. And the areas which needs improvement are I have not used quotations from the actual text, and because of this the answer is at a lower rubric level. And I have not used any critical interpretations or quotations from scholars from the restoration comedy of Ben. And the illustrations are present, but often they are not analytical examples. And so the conceptual clarity which my answer needs is what does the rover actually mean literally, and what does it mean symbolically, and why do what do the both characters qualify. Next slide, please. So this one is of Kruti Vyas, and she has talked about the paper of second paper which we had on the restoration and Puritan government. So the author and context she has correctly identified about Robert Burns, and the places and poet where the context actually of the transitional poets were there. So she has used the accurate biographical facts. It also includes several correct titles and roles of Burns, like National Poet of Scotland and Ploughman Poet. She has also used the correct list of poems of his work, and accurately has listed famous works like relevant to the question is To a Mouse. And the areas which need improvement are the information is overly detailed and irrelevant. She should shorten it. That is what AI is telling, that she should only keep relevant information. Introduction is far too long, so she need to introduce a thesis statement about her answer, and she has used a scattered formatting, and it is not suitable for a formal style answer. And the grammar and syntax errors which are there in which should not be there in writing a formal academic tone answer. Next slide. Next one is Priyanka's paper. So she has identified the core idea of negative capability, and it is accepting uncertainty. And she chose a relevant poem, Ode to Psyche, to illustrate the concept. And she has attempted interpretation, and she has not just retailed the myth. And the areas which needs improvement are, she has not used any quotation from Keats, and the illustrations are mostly summaries, and analysis are not present. A clearer example is needed of negative capability precisely means, and how Ode to Psyche is demonstrating ambiguity and imaginative openness. And conceptual inaccuracies are seen. So she's mixing the other lines from other poems, so that improvisation is needed. Next. Siddhi has accurately defined and identified the restoration events of Charles II theater reopening and about Dryden's allegory. And she has correctly focused on John Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel, and which is a literary reflection of the political events like the exclusion crisis. And the areas which need development is academic tone and grammar. Language must be entirely formal, precise, and grammatically correct, which is lacking. And analysis over summary. So she has to analyze and not summarize, and has to include some social examples which highlighted the social changes. And textual examples as a part of evidence is needed, quotations or references which can support the analytical claims. Next slide. Radhika has talked about in her answer about the strengths, where she has talked about the basic knowledge of Tennyson and his poems, covered many themes like love, nature, class, and imagination, has an introduction and a conclusion, and attempted in a good way to explain the Victorian context. The weaknesses lies here are she has not done clear thesis or made arguments, poor paragraph structure, and ideas are mixed and repeated. Informal, non academic language is used, very weak analysis, no points explained, no textual evidence is being seen, many grammatical and sentence errors, and coherence and clear transitions are seen as being lacking. Next slide. The next one is Chetna's slide, where the strengths of her answer shows the clear structure aligned with rubric criteria. The feedback is supported by specific examples, and she has done a constructed tone with practical suggestions, and shows the awareness of academic writing standards. And the paper is of paper 101, the history of the Elizabethan and the era of Chaucer. And the weaknesses are seen as the tone is too harsh, lacks balance, and limited explanation is being seen, no model examples, and uneven forces, and organization is less detailed. So improvement is needed for her to add brief positive notes before criticism. She should provide short model sentences for clarity, and suggest a clear essay flow: introduction, body, and then conclusion. And then she should connect the feedback directly to the rubric levels. The next one, Aditya Raj has talked about Macbeth, and the academic tone here is the language he has used is formal, precise, and highly appropriate for academic writing. Organization is excellent, and he has used clear headings and logical progression from external and internal forces both. He has also done a conceptual focus which directly addresses how the factors complicate Macbeth's journey, like witches as temptation, guilt as internal collapse, and which is moving beyond mere summary. And it achieves a seamless flow, clearly distinguishing the function of the supernatural, the mind, and the chance. And the areas which need improvement are integration is needed of one or two brief precise quotes or phrases, example, out damned spot or king hereafter, which can meet the highest level of the rubric content. And in conclusion, he should add a final sentence which can be slightly stronger or explicitly linking back to the thesis, ensuring the highest level of structural evidence which his answer can provide. Thank you so much. That is just it from my side.
So I think that was the last group. Huh? Okay, so one mistake that we see, none of you have used that pattern to compare the answers, your answers with this. Let us see the summary slides of what you have done and how the other thing can be useful. So I used AI to give me the summary of your responses, that what errors you have found and what way we can have only 3 to 4 slides to see that. So primary deficiencies in academic writing, according to our rubric, that was about DoE and MKBU rubric. So key deficiencies in language and tone, then structure and coherence, argumentation and analysis, and use of textual evidence. And in most of the answers, these things were lacking, like informal tone, conversational or oversimplistic writing was found in general in your answers. Essays are plagued by frequent basic grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors. Now, these all things you can only get an idea when you compare how the answer is generated with the help of this rubric. Then you will see what is basic grammar errors, spelling errors, punctuation errors, there. Vocabulary also. What are the exact words that you should have used instead of what you have used? Telling us, like somebody tells me that enhance your vocabulary. But if somebody says use this word instead of this, then it is more effective. Then I come to know I have to use this word instead of this. That we can see when we compare both the answers. Then in the second, what required according to this rubric was analytical part which was lacking. Most of you also said that descriptive answers are given, but analysis is not given. So what is asked in the question, that is not answered, but you start talking about Jonathan Swift, about William Shakespeare, even if the question is not asking you anything about the author. Yet normally students start writing about that. So that's why no central direction to the answer that you are writing. That coherent structure, critical depth, argument remain unconvincing and relies heavily on plot summary. Summary writing is happening a lot. When we were analyzing semester 3 answers, we have seen that they have reduced writing summaries. And we hope that in next semester, on the third semester, you also will reduce writing summaries and will start analyzing the questions which are given there. Evidence integration. Now, during many of our classrooms, we told you that, see, this critic you can remember, this article you are referring to, so this name of the article, critic, at least those you can use in the answer writing. Some quotes are very easy. Some are very difficult, so we can't remember all the quotes, but some simple poetic lines we can remember. And that can be presented as evidence in writing. So quotes from the text and quotes from the critic. Two things will add value to your answers. That was missing here. And finally, this actionable steps for improvement, refine language and tone, deepen critical analysis, master structure and evidence integration. So this will help in improving the quality of the answers. Now, what example we wanted to see? For example, in Rudra's case, you have to give it in this manner, that this was your answer, and this way you are supposed to, this way it was generated. So when you compare that, how you started, like Hard Times is a famous Victorian novel which critique on the hypocrisy of industrialization and education based on facts. Now, Charles Dickens' Hard Times 1854 in bracket is one of the most powerful social novels of the Victorian age, comma, offering a sharp critique of the dominant ideologies of industrial England. Now, if the first line, if you compare, what do you learn from that? That is what you have to see. That how you begin and how this line is written with comma, punctuation mark. That so what understanding you are. That is the comparing the outcome there. Jensi's answer also, it was about discuss how the father's will functions as a symbol in A Tale of a Tub. So she started writing with introduction. Jonathan Swift, a prominent writer, also a critic who wrote Gulliver's Travels, A Tale of a Tub, A Modest Proposal. Now here it says, in A Tale of a Tub, it is directly answering the question. It is directly. So what is the question that is important? It is not asking what Jonathan Swift has written apart from this text. That is what Jensi is writing in the first paragraph. A Tale of a Tub, Jonathan Swift, there is a comma, then Jonathan Swift uses the father's will as a powerful symbol to criticize the corruption of religious institutions. So this gives you exactly an idea that how you are writing and how it should be written. This was the second part, which all the groups have missed also. That is where this point what people criticize and try to say that human intelligence, we have to work on that. Artificial intelligence, we work with that, and then simple instructions are not followed. One example I gave you, that what mistakes semester 3 students made by using George Orwell. So I highlighted that so that you don't make that mistake. Otherwise, most of your response might have come with George Orwell's answer. That has not come, but then this instruction is missed out, that how to compare. So we saw that if you are 6 in the group, 3 will work on this, 3 will work on the another prompt. But that was not understood properly. So maybe next time you will understand that carefully and work on both the instructions which are given. And I knew that there's something important you will miss out. So I told repeatedly in the beginning that be careful, listen carefully, note down the things that what you are supposed to do. But as normally we believe, અમે એટલા મોટા થઈ ગયા છે, આટલી તો સમજ પડે ને અમને કે આવું ઝીણું ઝીણું અમને શું કહેવાનું હોય કે એકવાર કહી દો એટલે બધું આવડી જ જાય. That we feel, but then we make a mistake. One instruction, very important for a learning is not, but you have the content with you. So you can do the comparison, and you have 4 or 5 days left before your exam. 1 full week, I think you have to before the exam. So do writing practice, work with generative AI, improve the quality of how to begin answer, how to end your answer, how to bring evidences from text and critique, and that will help you a lot in improving your writing skill. As I told you that time also, that our focus is not only to improve the marks in the exam, but we want to improve the quality of writing that we do, how we can do. And we also suggested that maybe if you appear in some such exams like UPSC or other, where essay writing is very important, then also your writing can be at par with how. And this all can help you, that how you can write such answers of that level if you start working on that. But writing will grow in importance, as on one side AI will do lots of writing, on the other side the human's capacity to write on their own will also keep on increasing in our time. So be master of writing skills. That will help a lot in analytical skills, in thinking abilities, in connecting dots in the mind. Many ways writing, handwriting things will help a lot also. So look at this activity in that manner, that you have to basically improve your writing skills. It is not only for the exam, a particular exam or other, but whenever you write, you may get a very better way, a better style of writing things in detailed, connecting everything together. Okay? So wish you all the best for your exams, and we end our session here. Okay?